Hi, my name is Catherine Pebworth, and I am the advisor for NAHPL to the future professionals and new professionals. And today we're going to talk about handling stress. And this is good for not only future professionals, new professionals, it's really good for all of us because we all have stress in our lives. And how do we handle it? How do we recognize it in ourselves and in each other? So, stress. I know many of you feel this. It feels like it's tearing you apart sometimes. But we're going to talk about how to handle some of it. So, what is stress? It's emotional or physical tension. It's your body's reaction to that challenge or demand that you have placed on it. Not only physically, but mentally, socially. You can feel frustrated, angry, nervous, and it can be both negative and positive. Many times we forget about the positive stress in our lives, and it can have some of the same effect as the negative. But positive stress is always good. And so you have that good stress that you want to celebrate, and that bad stress that we don't like. So that good stress, positive stress, keeps us alive and excited about life. Starting a new job, buying a new home, graduation, starting a new semester, starting a new job, starting a new school year. It's a good stress. It's how we feel when we get excited. Keeps us alive and excited. Fulfillment, meaning, satisfaction, and well-being. So this is the good stress that we have in our lives. Lots of different words for stress. All these different words plus so much more. So the common signs of stress that we're going to look into in these different categories of emotional symptoms, physical symptoms, cognitive and behavioral. Now, these aren't just all the different ones that are related to stress. There's so many more, but these are some of the common ones. So start thinking about how you respond to stress. That emotional stress, feeling agitated, frustrated, moody, overwhelmed. Your mind doesn't relax. It keeps thinking about that topic over and over again. So much so that it may interfere with your sleeps and you start to dream about it. You start to avoid others. So for me, that easily agitated, sometimes when people take their pen and click it, it doesn't bother me. But if I'm starting to feel stressed and people do this, it bothers me. And I know that's one of my first symptoms of being stressed. Physical, low energy, headaches, that upset stomach, diarrhea, nauseous, all those gastrointestinal issues, aches and pains, insomnia, or sleeping too much, clenched jaw, grinding of the teeth. I hold all of my tension here in my shoulders. And so I start to feel tense in my shoulders, and I know, oh, it's one of my physical symptoms. Cognitive, constantly worrying, racing thoughts, forgetfulness or disorganized more than normal. That inability to focus, you can't concentrate, poor judgment, and only seeing the negative side of things. Also with cognitive, what I've noticed about myself, and this is further down my symptom range, is I'm dyslexic with both numbers and letters. And when I'm stressed, letters come in, letters appear, letters disappear. And as I'm reading something, I know that's not what it says. And so I have to calm myself down because that's one of my symptoms of stress. Behavioral, that changes in appetite, too much or too little. Those comfort foods, a lot of times it's those sugary foods or carbs. Procrastination, this is a big one for a lot of people. Exhibiting more nervous behavior, nail biting, fidgeting, pacing. Increased use of alcohol, drugs, cigarettes, vaping. So some consequences, mental health problems, cardiovascular disease, obesity and eating disorders, skin and hair problems, gastrointestinal problems. All of these are some long-term consequences if we don't do something about that stress. Think about that bad stress and how you feel. All of those racing thoughts, eating, or not eating. People start to complain that they break out. They start to lose their hair. And so part of this is starting to recognize the symptoms in yourself and some tips in dealing with stress. So one of the first things is recognize those signals of stress. Learn to pay attention to your body's responses. What triggers that feeling of stress in you? Do you feel your heart rate going up? All of a sudden you feel like it's going to come out of your chest. You look at your Fitbit, your Apple Watch, something else, and you're like, ooh, that's high. Do you get hot? Do you clench your jaw? What are those signals of stress? Create a ritual. Make sure that you take stress breaks. Get up, go for a walk, go outside for some fresh air. Do some deep breathing. Do some shoulder shrugs. Close your eyes for a minute. Take a mental or physical break. Get away for a little bit. Have that ritual that every hour you get up and you walk around your dorm room, you walk around your house. I'm here, I go out, I take a quick walk, and then I come back and I'm ready. It's part of that ritual. That getaway. Trying to find those boundaries between social life, professional life, school life. Find those boundaries. Team life, if you're an athlete. Whether it's listening to music, listening to all different genres of music. Turning off your cell phone and email during family time or friend time. We have a rule with one of my groups of friends. We try not to look at our cell phones at all. Life happens and sometimes we have to, but we try not to. That's part of our getting away. Things, most of the time, 99% of the time, things can wait till after we have our meal together or our time together. It can wait. One of the things I do is after a certain time of night, I do not answer or look at my emails from work. unless I know I'm expecting something. Have a hobby. Have a hobby. Do something. One of the things that I do is I look at genealogy. Exercise. Go for a walk. 30 minutes a day. Get in your 7,000 steps per day. Go lift weights. I have a friend that goes and uses a punching bag. That's how he releases his stress. Develop a support system. Not only your family, but other people. That's that group of friends that I have. We're each other's support system. We can come in and talk about anything and everything, and we listen. Because sometimes with that support system, you just need to get it off your chest. Regroup the task. When a task is stressful, look at ways to reorganize it or come at it from a different angle. There's a saying that said you can't eat an elephant all at once. You have to eat it bit by bit. And so I may be working on the left foot, front foot, and I get to a stopping point or a roadblock. Well, now I'm going to go to the back right foot and start there. And then I may go to the trunk or the tail. So you regroup it. Take time to recover. Go do something that you want to do for fun. Take some time off. Take a break. And then redefine balance. Make clear your choices. There are times when schoolwork is going to have precedence over social time, but you need to make time for that social time as well. And so redefining that balance. And then delegation. You don't have to do it all. I used to be bad at this, but I started to look at it. If I have a task that's this big and I do it all, a lot of times we don't delegate because the person's not going to do it correctly. But if I delegate this much of it or this much of it, then I may have to go back and tweak and change it, but only have to do that much of it instead of the whole thing. So have some delegation when you can. And then most importantly, learning how to say this word, no, and being okay with it. There may be times when you can't go out with friends. You can't go and do things that you want to do because work, schoolwork takes a priority. Or, you have to wait. Hey, I've got this big test coming up. I can't go to the movies. I can't go and do this at this time. And so learning how to say this word and being okay with it so that you don't get overburdened and overstressed. Thank you for joining. Hopefully you have learned something.